When the discovery trip turns into a terrifying and deadly journey, and the goal is to risk everything you have in order to survive and protect others, and learn survival methods in most of dangerous places and conditions, and confront the strongest predators with courage, and you may be the prey or eat their flesh. Film The Edge. Our story begins in the state of Alaska, north of America, and Robert and his friends arrive there by plane with his beautiful wife, and he's a very wealthy man and has great wealth. And one of the companions there tells them that the most dangerous thing here in the region is flocks of birds, and it can destroy the plane easily. Then they sit on the plane while he's reading a book about ways to survive in the wild, and he's accompanied by a group of friends enjoying the trip, and they arrive in an isolated area of the north with the towering Rocky Mountains. The next day there is a photo shoot to his wife Mickey for a company advertisement, and his friend Martin, the director of photography, in traditional clothes. And Robert notices that extreme closeness to each other when he reads about bears. And his friend Donald tells him that when a bear kills a person, he turns into a predator of them. And the next day they set out for the big lake in the far of the north of Alaska, and they are excited about this adventure. But they will encounter a flock of wild geese, destroying the main propeller and the wild shield, and directly injuring the pilot, and he's trying to land in the lake, and Robert is trying to save Steve from drowning, and Martin was able to get out as well, and they were able to swim and get out of the water and light a fire so that they don't die from the cold. And this will be their first night in the wild. The next day, Robert wants them to wait for the help because the rescue team will know their location. But Martin will surprise him that he didn't leave the letter where it was, and they will know that there's no point for waiting. And Robert explains them that they must return to the south, and he will make a compass to go south. And he's a smart man, so he makes it with a metal pen on the surface of the water, using the magnetic force of the earth to determine the south. And it will be a difficult journey to climb high mountains without food or shelter. And while they are walking in the middle of the forest, Martin hears a sound, and they will listen, and they will see a giant brown bear below, and they will be terrified. And then he will notice them, and they will terrifying look, and they will still start running away. And after running for a distance and wanting to rest, they will know that the bear is chasing them, and they will run away again until they reach the waterfall, and they try to make a bridge over it using a tree trunk, and the sound of the nearby bear scares them. And Martin will be the first, and Steve will follow him to escape. And the bear approaches Robert, and they two succeeds in reaching, while Robert is in danger after the tree fall by the bear and wants to reach him, but he falls into a river, and they were able to get him out, and they saw the large and ferocity of the bear, which left them in the place. And Robert tells them that they lost the rescue lights, but Martin has the matches, and they continue the journey toward the south and reach a high mountain peak, and they don't see any human place, and they think that they are walking to the right direction, and they will rest and sleep there. The next day, Robert wants them to continue to descend from the mountain, but they return to the same place as the previous day, and Robert will know that the reason in his belt that attracted the compass, and frustration and nervousness begin to appear on them, and he will not give up and wants them to make a spear for fishing because they haven't eaten anything for 2 days, and he will collect wood for warmth and protection, and they will hear Steve screams, who injured himself badly, and Robert will tighten him to stop the bleeding. And Martin will make a fire for the night, and Robert will make a shelter for protection and warmth, and the weather will be clear that night, and he will know the correct direction by the stars. Then there will be a strong storm and heavy rain, and Robert will see a piece of Steve's clothes stained with blood and become angry because they should have buried it so it wouldn't spread the smell of the blood in the air and attracts predators. And while Steve is heading toward them, the bear attacks him and being to eat him alive, and Robert tries to save him using fire, but no avail against a giant bear. And he and Martin will escape and hear his screams that he's being eaten alive, and they were left alone suffering from cold and hunger, and Robert made a trap for them to eat anything, and they waited for the square to enter until they succeeded in catching their first catch. Then they would hear the sound of the rescue helicopter, and they quickly chasing it, but trees would cover them and they would go without seeing them. And Martin became very nervous nervous because the helicopter had gone, and Robert telling him that they would search in other places and they would not return to them and they must survive on their own. And in fact, they would continue their way in harsh environment, tired and hungry. And Rob will use his chain and a piece of metal and thread from his clothes to begin fishing. And he will see the bear next to him and run away while the bear chasing him fiercely between the trees. And he will hide among the tree branches, and he was able to survive after hiding among them. After that, he will run away to Martin and they will make a big fire to protect them at night. And they will feel that the bear is close to them and they will remain cautious until the next day. And they will begin collecting woods to make spears and prepare to confront the predator. And Rob tells Martin that he will lure him using blood because it attracts him easily. And they actually prepare the spears with a piece of cloth with blood on it, and they will wait carefully for the bear to appear. And they know that it will come because it ate human flesh before. Then the bear appears to them and wants to prey on them, and they lure it onto a first trap and release it, but it's not accurate and will not be enough. Then they lure it to the second plane and it attacks them and injures Martin, while Rob tries to defend him and lure him to the specified place. And when the bear makes his final attack, Robert will use the bear weight against him and the spear will penetrate his body. And after the bear wanted to prey on them, they were able to kill the predator.